Marvin Weinbaum joins me live from Washington, D.C. He's a former analyst for the U.S. State Department and a scholar at the Middle East Institute. Thanks so much for joining us. Marvin, what's gone wrong here? Helmand was the focus of Obama's troop surge 8 years ago. The British have put some of their best combat troops there. How has the Taliban managed to retake this area?
Well, it's always been an area of contention. From the very beginning, it was an area which was a wonderful target for the Taliban because of its resources, the fact that it lies in a very particularly strategic part of the province. This is a very large province, and a province with a great deal of poppy growing, and also on the crossroads, really, for the traffic that goes from east to west. So it's always been a fought-over area. And as you say, when the surge began, this was the number one target, always seen as the hard nut to crack. And so it shouldn't perhaps be a surprise that it becomes, again, the area which is going to be most fought over. Let me add one more thing, though, and that is that this is only symptomatic of a much greater problem that the forces of the Afghan government and the NATO people that are remaining there have. What we're seeing in Sangin, it really is something which we can see on a much less visible basis in many of the provinces in the country, perhaps as many as half of them.
Okay, so Martin, what needs to be done? Was it a mistake then, basically, for NATO and the U.S. to try and start winding down troop numbers?
Well, it was not a mistake in the sense that it was based on the preposition that the Afghan security forces, the military, the army, that is, and the together with the police, militarized police, would be able to step up where we step back. If there was a mistake, perhaps one could argue that the transition, the security transition, was a bit too hasty. One could say that they just simply were not ready. But I think we have to put it in the context of the fact that both in the United States and Britain, the two countries that had major responsibility for this area particularly, I think the public here has grown considerably less enamored with having forces there. And so there had to be some kind of stepping back.
Okay.
But we could argue about how quickly it went.
But will they be able to get this area back under control?
I think they will if all it means is to be able to reestablish control in the sense that they are able to place military back in there for a time. But what they will not be able to do for at least some time is to take care of the area, the general area, which may very well, which I think undoubtedly will remain under the control of the Taliban, even if particular areas have become more secure.